Hold on, stop everything for a second, because what you just saw wasn't weakness. It was Cardi B showing restraint. That moment was Cardi B choosing grace when she had every reason to explode. She stood there defending a man who, according to what people have been whispering behind the scenes, humiliated her on one of the biggest stages in the world. Millions were watching, the pressure was enormous, and still she kept her composure. She protected him when no one expected her to, and she carried herself like the bigger person even while the situation was quietly breaking her behind the scenes. But grace doesn't last forever, and now people believe that patience has finally run out. Everything changed the moment those words surfaced, "He's mine too." A grandmother allegedly saying that about Cardi B's 3-month-old son didn't sound gentle or loving to the people close to the situation. It sounded serious. It sounded territorial. And according to insiders, Cardi B responded with the strongest warning she could possibly make, allegedly threatening to involve CPS and bring outside authorities into the Diggs family if boundaries weren't respected. That kind of threat takes things out of celebrity gossip territory and into something much more serious and unpredictable. Meanwhile, Stefon Diggs, the same man who felt the cold distance from Cardi B before the Super Bowl, is now reportedly feeling the full weight of that same icy silence. Sources claim Stefon Diggs has been struggling to keep things together as the situation spirals, reacting emotionally while the pressure builds around him from every direction. At this point, this is no longer just a messy breakup story. This has turned into a real crisis, and if you're just hearing about it now, then you need the full picture, because none of this started today. This moment has been building for months, with every event pushing the story closer to this breaking point like a line of dominoes falling one after another with no way to stop them. The story really began back in May 2025 when Cardi B and Stefon Diggs first got together, and at the time people were genuinely rooting for her and hoping she had finally found stability. After spending 7 long years in a turbulent and exhausting relationship with Offset, Cardi B finally seemed to have found someone who promised something different and something calmer. Stefon Diggs said all the right things. He promised stability. He promised loyalty. He promised he would heal the damage left behind and show her what real love was supposed to feel like, and those promises sounded convincing at the time. And for a while, she believed him completely. She trusted him enough to build a future together, and that future became real when she got pregnant and gave birth to their son in November 2025. During that time, she stood by him publicly and privately, showing up at Patriots games, posting him proudly, and defending him from critics whenever his name came up. She moved like someone fully committed, the definition of loyal and ride or die, and it looked like she had finally found peace and emotional security. Then February 8th, 2026 arrived, Super Bowl Sunday, and everything fell apart in a single night that nobody saw coming. The Patriots lost to the Seahawks 29-13, and Stefon Diggs barely made an impact on the field, looking almost invisible during the biggest game of the season while expectations were sky high. But the real disaster wasn't happening on the scoreboard. It was happening behind the scenes while the cameras were pointed somewhere else. His baby mama Kiki, whose son had been born just 2 months before Cardi B's baby, was at the game posting constantly on Instagram while wearing his jersey like a public message nobody could ignore. Then reports surfaced that another woman connected to Stefon Diggs' past had also been inside the Super Bowl with Patriots credentials, raising even more questions that nobody could clearly answer. Soon after that, unverified claims began circulating that Stefon Diggs allegedly brought someone back to his hotel room after the loss, which only made the situation look worse. In the middle of all this, Cardi B quietly walked out during halftime and never returned, leaving people confused about what had really happened. She had reportedly spent $1.2 million planning an after-party that never even happened, with everything prepared and waiting for an event that suddenly didn't exist anymore. By the next morning, the signs were impossible to miss. They unfollowed each other on social media without saying a word or giving any explanation. No statements, no interviews, just silence. The breakup was confirmed without either of them needing to say it out loud. That moment became the line Cardi B refused to cross again. She walked away clean, focused on her tour, and chose herself instead of the relationship and the chaos surrounding it. Most people assumed that would be the end of the story. They thought the two of them would simply co-parent, move on peacefully, and close the chapter for good without more conflict. But that isn't what happened because the Diggs family reportedly wasn't ready to let things end so quietly or so simply. That was the moment when the story shifted from a breakup into something far more serious and emotionally charged. What began as relationship drama turned into full family conflict. Sources began reporting that Stefon Diggs' mother had allegedly started making demands about the child he shares with Cardi B, and these weren't gentle requests or emotional appeals from a grandmother who just wanted to stay close to her grandson. According to multiple insiders, she allegedly began pushing for extended visits, inserting herself into custody discussions, and acting as if she had some kind of authority over decisions involving the child's life, where he goes, when he visits, and who controls access. Then came the statement that reportedly shocked Cardi B the most: "He's mine too." Those words reportedly hit Cardi B like a freight train because they didn't sound like a grandmother asking for a relationship. They sounded like a claim, like someone trying to establish ownership over a child that wasn't theirs to claim, and that was the moment everything truly changed. Elsa's child. That's how it started to sound. A grown woman speaking about a 3-month-old baby as if he were shared property instead of a newborn with a mother protecting him. To people close to Cardi B, the words didn't come across as love or concern. They sounded like possession. Like Cardi B was being treated as nothing more than an obstacle standing between the Diggs family and what they saw as their bloodline. And the part that insiders say truly ignited Cardi B's anger wasn't just the entitlement itself, it was the timing behind it. Because according to sources, everything allegedly intensified the moment Cardi B made it crystal clear that she was finished with Stefon Diggs romantically and emotionally. The second his family realized she wasn't coming back, wasn't softening, and wasn't giving another chance, the pressure reportedly started building. The requests turned into expectations, and the expectations started sounding like demands. Insiders say it felt less like a conversation and more like panic, like they could see Cardi B moving on and thriving without him. She was on tour, performing to sold-out crowds, posting messages about independence and self-worth, looking stronger than ever and showing the world she didn't need the relationship to survive. And that confidence reportedly sent a message that couldn't be ignored. She meant it when she said she was done. That realization allegedly unsettled the Diggs family because if Cardi B truly walked away for good, then any access to the baby would exist entirely on her terms. Instead of easing tensions or building trust, sources claim the situation escalated quickly, with conversations allegedly shifting toward control, authority, and custody language that immediately raised alarms. Rather than approaching her carefully and respectfully, insiders say the family allegedly came in aggressively, talking in ways that sounded more like ownership claims than family requests. And according to sources close to the situation, Cardi B wasn't reacting with public drama or loud emotional outbursts. She was furious in a quieter and far more serious way. Not social media furious. Not headline furious. Calm, controlled, and deeply angry in a way that people around her described as dangerous because she had already been handling the situation with maturity. She hadn't tried to block Stefon Diggs from seeing his son. She hadn't turned the baby into leverage. She hadn't lashed out publicly, even after the Super Bowl scandal where Stefon Diggs allegedly cheated and embarrassed her in front of a national audience. She stayed composed and focused on stability for the child. But even patience has limits, and insiders say a boundary was crossed when Stefon Diggs' mother allegedly pushed too far. That was the moment everything shifted. And this is where the story reportedly takes a turn that nobody expected. Because according to reports circulating online and among sources connected to both sides, Cardi B allegedly made a warning, not quietly, not indirectly, and not through whispers, but in a way that made her position unmistakably clear. She allegedly signaled that if the Diggs family continued pushing on custody issues the way they had been, she would be prepared to involve child protective services. Take a second and really think about what that means. CPS is not a casual threat. It's the nuclear option, the kind of move that doesn't just end a co-parenting disagreement, but completely reshapes the situation and raises the stakes to a level that can't be undone. Once that line is crossed, the entire landscape changes, and nothing between the families could ever go back to normal again. Now, to be clear, insiders are not claiming that Cardi B has actually filed a CPS report. What sources are saying is that she allegedly delivered this as a warning, a firm line drawn in the sand, essentially telling Stefon Diggs' family to step back before things go further. The message, as it's being described, was simple but serious. If the pressure for access to her son continues, and if she believes her child's well-being is at risk from people who refuse to respect her role as his mother, then she will use every legal option available to protect him. And make no mistake, that kind of statement carries a very specific weight. When a mother invokes CPS, she isn't just saying, "Stay away from my baby." She's saying something much stronger. She's saying, "I'm ready to make this official." She's saying, "I will document everything." She's saying that the situation has reached a level where trust is no longer there. It signals that she no longer feels confident about the intentions of the Diggs family when it comes to her child. People close to Cardi B say this position comes from something she has allegedly been repeating in private for weeks. That if Stefon Diggs' family was present at the Super Bowl and witnessed the way he allegedly disrespected her without stepping in or speaking up, then she cannot trust those same people around her son. In her view, loyalty to Stefon Diggs and protection of her baby are two completely different things. And until she sees clear proof that the Diggs family understands that difference, she is not agreeing to extended visits or unsupervised time. That is the energy surrounding Cardi B right now, controlled, guarded, and unmistakably cold. Now let's talk about Stefon Diggs, because his reaction to this reported CPS warning is what has people online completely stunned. Just a few weeks ago, sources were describing Stefon Diggs as someone going through a genuine period of reflection. After the Super Bowl fallout, insiders painted a picture of a man dealing with regret and facing the consequences of what happened. People close to him said he had been thinking deeply about his newborn son and the kind of example he wanted to set moving forward. There were even quiet suggestions that he was preparing to publicly acknowledge the hurt he caused Cardi B. Sources described him watching Cardi B perform on tour night after night, hearing her tell crowds of thousands, "Don't let nobody take your happiness away from you," and understanding that those words were tied directly to their relationship. According to insiders, that realization reportedly affected him deeply. That was the period when he allegedly began moving toward accountability and personal growth. But then the CPS warning surfaced, and according to sources, everything shifted almost overnight. The reflective mindset people had been describing seemed to disappear. Instead, insiders claimed Stefon Diggs reacted with a level of anger that surprised even those closest to him. This wasn't described as quiet sadness or thoughtful regret. According to people familiar with the situation, he reportedly felt blindsided, convinced that the CPS angle was an extreme reaction, and unable to believe the situation had escalated this far. Now, whether that reaction is justified is something people are still debating, and there are arguments on both sides. But what seems clear is that whatever period of reflection Stefon Diggs may have been going through appears to be over. Sources say he is heated right now, and that emotional tension could make an already complicated co-parenting situation far more difficult to manage. From where it looks, something deeper may be happening beneath all the noise. You can tell me in the comments if this interpretation feels off, but the pattern looks clear. The Diggs family reportedly saw Cardi B walk away clean. They saw her succeed. They saw her moving forward without hesitation. And they realized she meant it when she said the relationship was over. Instead of responding with patience and respect, sources claim the response came in the form of pressure and entitlement. And that pressure may be what pushed Cardi B from a mindset of mature co-parenting into a position where she felt forced to mention CPS as a protective measure. Meanwhile, Stefon Diggs, who insiders say had been moving toward accountability and trying to become the kind of father his son could look up to, may have been pulled back into the chaos by the conflict surrounding his family. Instead of appearing as someone working to do better, he now reportedly looks like someone reacting emotionally because his child's mother threatened legal action involving his own family. It feels like 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. That contrast says a lot. 2 people facing the same situation, but choosing very different directions. And right now, Stefon Diggs' path appears to have veered sharply off course. So this is where things stand. Cardi B has allegedly used the strongest possible warning to establish a hard boundary around her son and her authority as his mother. And now the question becomes unavoidable. Was the CPS warning justified, or did Cardi B push the situation past the point where it can be repaired? And another question remains just as important. Do you think Stefon Diggs will find his way back to that reflective state of mind, or has the damage already gone too far?